Okay, good morning, my friends. Now, I don't know how long this video is going to last or how long I'm going to be able to do it. Put the glasses on and don the garb. Don't get to do a lot of videos. The next day I'd probably be able to do one would be Monday, so we're going to try to get this today in 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so today is March 22nd. Tomorrow is my father's birthday. I've been gone a few years. Died of Alzheimer's, pretty much. Anyway, our buddy is going to be here in a couple weeks. The Horned Comet. Now, this is my feeling. This is not what anybody's saying in the mainstream news or anything else. Now remember, Nostradamus talks about a comet when the comet runs. I think this is that comet. There's too many things that are going on with it. Too many things about it and everything else. So, the thing has horns. Supposedly it's either split up or is throwing crap off it. So its debris field is pretty big. Now, this could be debris from our buddy, or it is what it is. But it isn't going to hit us yet. Excuse me. But its debris field will spread and go into the water and do a lot of things. So is this the proverbial wormwood? Well, I'm not going to say it is, but before I get into the rest of this video, make sure that you have what we say, have your proverbial ducks in a row, because we don't live in the path of it coming through. It's going to come up through parts of Washington, Oregon, go straight down through Texas and all of that. New Madrid fault line, all that stuff. Planets are going to be aligned. Eclipse is going to happen. It's coming through. So there's a lot of things. No, I'm not going to be the guy that comes out and says, oh, wow, man, look at all this crap. It's going to go down. Nope, that's not me. But I will tell you this. If there was ever a time to be prepared, they've already told you to be prepared. They're having the National Guard out, like all over. They're telling you guys, or everybody out there, to have water and food because, oh, the tourists are going to take them all. No, while that could be true, they're telling you to have food, water, and supplies. So if you live in those zones, or anywhere else, food, water, and supplies are enough to get you by for a little bit. 2 weeks minimum, more if you can. I've ordered some stuff offline. I've already got it. If you do that, then the next week and get it, you'll be good. Okay? I have a lot more insight to a lot more things that I'll never share here because I'm going to keep myself off that spectrum. I will tell you this, though. I have studied for 30 years, like since the internet began, and Google was a little bit more reliable back in those days. They weren't giving you false crap as they do now. Because everything you do now is a conspiracy theory, the truer it is. I did my own research on that dreaded AC character, and it turns out that the guy he's not Muslim. It just says, rises up out of the Middle East. Couldn't this person attack a certain area from a certain area of the Middle East, and then he has risen up out of the Middle East, right? This person is alive today. He's not 30, but he's not 90. I have my own view on how this is all going to go down. It may happen, it may not happen. I'm not going to throw that out there as conjecture. I'm not going to put names out there because that's how you keep yourself kind of good. Plus, if you ended up being right, you'd be out there in the limelight, and who wants that? So, but let's put it this way. I think what's going to happen is whatever's going to go down, a certain person's going to come together with this other person about a treaty in the Middle East, okay? And then halfway through the treaty, the person who proposed it will break it, and then it's all going to go down. So this is 2024, right? Maybe it'll be signed this year, but probably, I would say, well, it could be. It could be signed this year. I'm trying to throw the things in there for the time frames of what I got going. So Okay, so that has that bit. When this person from here gets with this person from here, and they make this treaty, all the people in the world are going to be happy because the whole thing is now controlled. Okay? 3.5 years in, though, this person or said system will betray this said person or system, and then it's going to start. And that does go to around what everybody talks about, 2030, 2031, right about in there. So yeah, you and I will be here depending on what happens. Okay? But let's get back to the other brass tacks. This comet's coming through. We should be able to see it, and some people have already with telescopes and whatever, high-power binoculars, whatever. I asked Gil if it was the comet. He said it wasn't. Well, maybe it isn't the comet, but it's got some big meaning to it. It's got a debris field that's pretty huge, and who's to say what comes off that stuff and comes in? You know what I mean? You got an eclipse. You got planets all lined up. Does it mean there's going to be some massive earthquake somewhere? I didn't say it. But I'd be prepared anyway. Say all this stuff comes down, not one person that said anything is correct, you still got that extra food. Just sit down and eat it and enjoy it. But you had it. First aid, anything you think you might need, I would be getting pretty good on that. You're going to tell me they're going to have the National Guard out all over the place. They're going to have all this other stuff. They're going to throw warnings to people that live near it. Oh, well, you better do this. I've been through a few eclipses in my lifetime, and I have never had to prepare and be ready for those. What about the one that was a few years ago that they all went up to Oregon for and went up there to watch that one? Did they tell all the people that lived there to stock up on food, water, and supplies? Because the tourists were going to take it? No, they didn't. And did they run out? No, they didn't. That's just my little saying what I'm saying. If you haven't prepared by now, I would say you should be doing it. Because time's going to change, and you might say, well, gee, I wish I had had all that. And like I said, if I help one of you guys do whatever it is, that's cool. The other 79, if you do it, fine. If you don't, you don't. I have never done this channel ever. I'm going to go on to this little rant for about 7 minutes, probably, because I've had it with a lot of these channels, okay? There's a lot of good stuff out there and a lot of good knowledge that comes from it. But when you make your channel mostly about money, then you're not about people. You're about money, and it doesn't matter. Oh, well, and then put breaking under your headline, and it's 5 minutes of infomercials about pillows I should buy and this and that, when it's a world event that I should know more about. Well, I know. This is so important. It's got to be a webinar, and we're going to charge them. That's not looking out for humanity. That's looking out for your pocketbook. Sorry. And now the new deal is that a lot of guys, and there's channels I like, but they're doing the commercial within it, and they're doing it. So the only way you can get out of that is to scroll through till they're no longer there. I understand that some of you guys don't do anything but this, and this is how you make your money. But as I told you guys before, take it, throw it down there in the comment section or description, put your links in there, and then if people want to donate, because you've said it a billion times, they'll click it and do it. But don't keep talking about it. Don't keep saying it. That doesn't mean that anything you're saying is important. Okay? So, a lot of channel. So I'm going to tell you this. So this channel is very informative, but I only listen to really on Thursday and tune into the middle. Because I don't want to hear an inundation of infomercials, okay? Or that I might pay $50 to listen to a better part of it. Now, the guy that's on there, if I was him, I would just run my own channel, which he doesn't, and basically say my own thing whenever I wanted to. A lot of people think, oh, this guy's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. Don't really know him, but they say it. The only other thing I'm going to go on is because Gil's very informative and he has refriended me. However, he says that this comment, and it may not be the comment, but it is a very important sign at least. When the comment runs, and now you got this guy over here that everybody thinks isn't doing anything because the media puts him out as not being able to, oh, and they're doing this, and they're doing that. And you come to find out that they're doing a lot more damage than the news is telling you. So I'm going to go back on this before I end this. Remember I used to talk about the DEFCON level and what that is? Closer to nuclear war that is? When this whole thing started with the Ukraine, our DEFCON went to 2. It was there. I wish I would have screen capped it, so I would have still had it. It only was there for about 4 days. I was on some of these forums. Somebody mentioned it, and then it wasn't even another day, and it was back to 3. So if you go and check that out on Google, and it says, oh, well, this didn't happen since the Cold War. That's a lie. That happened at the beginning of this. Now all of a sudden it's always hunky-dory, nothing's going on. You see stories from other channels and it's basically telling you that all this stuff is happening. It's because your own media lies. Flat out. Google anything we talked about around 2011. It's all conspiracy theory now. All of it is. Even though back then it was seen as fact. Even though guys like Jesse Ventura went to these places and checked them out and saw the stuff that was there and filmed it. But people buy that big box over there, and whatever it tells them, that's what they believe. Now, we don't know if this is going to be a big deal where this happens, but be prepared for it. They've also issued a warning of communications going down within this area of where this is coming. Okay? So have alternative means. Two-way radios. Whatever it is. You know what I mean? But I do believe that the internet's going to go down like Gil said. And when it does go down, it's not going to be a day or two. It's going to be about a week at least to 2 weeks. When they're done with all that and they come back, everything's going to be restructured. Don't think cashless society is going to happen? Think again, it's already happening. We all do it. How many of us use hard cash every single day? I don't. Sometimes I do. Somebody has to have it. But in reality, I don't. We're already all doing it. So here's another thing I'm going to end this video with. Friends of mine who do this. I'm never going to accept technology because that's mark of the beast. And you got a phone. It's got a chip. If you ever pay with anything, transaction to Amazon, that's already an electronic purchase. You've already done it. If you've ever allowed your whatever to do a retina scan, you've already done it. To me, as long as it isn't there in your hand or here, then you didn't do it completely. Because all my friends, oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. You already have. You already did it. You already went in there and you've already done something that was part of it. I don't have much longer. I don't want to be too long. But anyway, I just wanted to throw this out because I might not be able to do another one. I want this done and out before that comes because otherwise you may not see it. If we're going to ever get ready, be ready now. Doesn't mean the world's ending. Doesn't mean the sky's falling. But it just means that in case something goes down, you got something to help you out if you need it. Alternative generators. I have them. They're little, but they're enough to get me by. Anything. Food, water, supplies, like I say. Oh, anyway, my friends, that's about all I got to say. Just be prepared. Be ready. Like I said, I got my own versions of who I think is what. A lot of people aren't going to believe it. I think that's what it is. It may end up being what it is, but I'm not putting that out on the airwaves. Peace. I'll be seeing you. Hopefully you guys come out on the other side. We'll see you on April 9th maybe, but I'll do them before then.